Good morning, everybody. It is a nice, cool Wednesday today. My boy's birthday. My middle boy is 20. 20 years old. How did that happen? Time does fly. Yeah, he's doing good. He likes to skate, amongst other things. Boy likes to rollerblade, skate, play video games, all that crazy stuff. He's doing good. Proud of my boy. Graduated early, finished in IT, got his job at a bank. Proud of my boy. Doing good. Doing well for himself. And going to a little skate party. His mom's throwing him one. And we'll have a dinner or something for him later. Probably this weekend we'll have a party for him over at my mom's. Pop did well at the hospital. He's walked out of his surgery just fine. And I think the biggest concern was the blood thinners. Had to make sure he wasn't going to continue bleeding from the little incisions. And well, that's a trip. That is a trip. Shot little, what is it, like an angiogram or something, you know, up his arteries, and burned out a few nerves, and boom, got those crazy nerves out of the way. Now his heart is beating properly. Strange the way surgery has progressed over the years. So yeah, happy, thankful for that. Pop's doing well. He was hobbling around last night looking a little sore and stiff. Biggest problem is when he was on the New Orleans Police Department, he hurt his back. A streetcar picked him up, and while he was in his car, streetcar picked him up, slammed his car against a light pole, and messed up his back a little bit. So yeah, not every day that happens to you, but yeah. He says he heard a crash, saw white everywhere, thought he was in heaven. It was just the airbag going off in his face. And kind of did a number on his back. That started it. And then chasing a few people, he slipped off a roof or something. My dad, regular Spider-Man, and 55, 60 years old, chasing people across rooftops. That's Pop. And so yeah, his back hurts him now. Had to pay for that action. But if he lays down too long, his back really hurts. He said he didn't feel anything else other than his back last night. He just wanted to get up and walk. He couldn't walk for like 12 hours. Wasn't easy on him, but I was there, so I got to help him walk around the hallway a little bit. He's doing well. He's getting around good, and he's a tough old bird, so he's bouncing back. So anyway, it is Wednesday, and loving this cool weather. It feels so good. Actually feels like winter. It's rare you get that in Louisiana. It's a little chilly, then it gets hot. A little chilly, then it gets hot. That's pretty much a winter in Louisiana. Pretty mild winters. Yeah, good stuff. So today I am going to get a couple test shots. I want to get a couple test shots of this gritty, grimy area upstairs. It's just weird and creepy up there. So I'm gonna get some shots, see if inspiration strikes. Upstairs in the television station I work, there's some back rooms. The place was an old 7-Up bottling company in the 40s, I think. 40s, yeah. We got it in the 50s. The Jesuits bought it, made a TV station, and ever since they've been dividing church and state. So yeah, it's interesting. So yeah, it's an old building, old warehouse, a little kind of funky old faded glass, plate glass, and screens, and cool funky stuff. Might be neat seeing people walk. Soft focus behind it all. I'll see. I got some shots upstairs and see what there is to do. Oh, you know what? There's an area that kind of looks like David Bowie's character in the new Twin Peaks series. Have you guys seen this? Man, like I said yesterday, David Lynch. The man delivers in spades sometimes. Okay, am I getting over here, people? Come on. Y'all can do it. It's painful, I know, but please let me over. Yeah, so David Bowie dies, and of course he wanted him in the new series. I forgot his character's name. Strange character. He hopped in and out of the parallel universe. He was an FBI. Excuse me. FBI detective hopping in and out of the universes of the heck was it? The dark. Oh gosh, my coffee hasn't kicked in enough. This little cup, not enough. I need more coffee in this brain. Come on. So anyway, the Black Lodge or the Dark Lodge, Creepy Lodge, whatever it is, with a little singing guy, little dwarf fellow was dancing at the end of Twin Peaks. For any of us old people that saw season 1 back in the early 90s, yeah, that's the little Black Lodge or whatever. So David Bowie's character back then in the 90s disappeared in the Black Lodge for a while. Because what else would you do with David Bowie? You got him down for one day for one cameo. You're going to make him disappear in the Black Lodge. So anyway, in this episode, he's still in that universe, that parallel world. But now he's a giant teapot talking through the steam. Yeah, teapot or boil or whatever you want to call it. Looks like a big teapot. And they didn't even really try to get the same voice, like someone that really sounded like him. They just, you know, got a cool voice and did it again. But I guess when you're a teapot, your accent changes. So yeah, it was bizarre. So anyway, we have a room in Channel 4. It's kind of like this big compressor room with big gauges and gears and stuff. That might look pretty freaky in black and white. It would be a cool place for like creatures to walk out from behind and walk up to the camera. You know, like that fast forward walk. What is that? That's time lapse? Is that time lapse? Or is that cranked footage? I don't know the difference. I gotta look that up. I don't consider all time lapse the same thing. If you're shooting a frame a second, that's like an intervalometer time lapse. If you're just fast forwarding footage, you're just fast forwarding. I gotta see what they call the terminology is on that. I mean, I suppose it's all time lapse. Time's gonna be passing faster. But yeah, that'd be a weird little thing. I don't know what kind of costumes I can put on or something. I don't know. Maybe a puppet. Maybe it needs to be a marionette. That might be even more bizarre. If a weird marionette with like a infinity focus on a phone, maybe, where everything's in focus, you know, within like a foot of the camera, all the way back to the back of the room you're shooting, you know, you could put a table down and have a miniature marionette walk on the table toward the camera, and that could be cool. Yeah, something weird like that. Like something that can't be a human in a costume, you know. So I'm thinking along those lines. I just want to do something surreal. It's like, what are we looking at? Why is, you know, maybe it's 50 seconds of this compressor just kicking on and off like it does. It's very loud, scares the mess out of you when you're around. The thing is gigantic, and oh, it's so obnoxious. The sound this thing used to make. I think they disabled it, but oh my gosh, it's the most annoying sound. And it was like 200 decibels of this giant whining motor kicking on and off. Oh, you know, but there's all kind of weird, disturbing things at that TV station. Did I mention I saw a ghost? Yeah, maybe I'll call this episode I Saw a Ghost. And yeah, years ago, I was okay, rewind. I've been at the television station for 23 years. I'm a lifer, not going anywhere. And yes, I just got a text. So yeah, Joe Bakshish, this Polish scenic artist, set builder, designer, my predecessor by 2. There were two after him, and I became the 3rd set designer after that. And yeah, he died, cirrhosis or something. I think he was a horrible alcoholic, depressed person. And I think he had cirrhosis and died from a liver issue. Super talented though, super talented. Really dismal, creepy, dank, as you'd imagine. Depressed people would paint paintings. I've seen a few of his things. I personally wouldn't paint any of that crap in my house, but maybe David Lynch would. And anyway, real talented, would build sets and scenery and this and that, blah, blah, blah. Died. Boom, dies. Okay. In New Orleans, we have ferries that cross the Mississippi River. I'm sure ferries are prevalent everywhere. But yeah, they cross the Mississippi River. And they got a pool of people from the station. He wanted a burial at sea. So they put his ashes in like a community coffee can or whatever. And the ashes were in a capsule, whatever, in the community coffee can. And Marilyn, this lady that worked with us, this little old lady, and I'm sure she wasn't old 30 years ago, but she was probably still little. There's like 15 or 20 of them on the boat, and they all knew Joe, because the TV station was a weird place back in the day. Everyone worked there forever and never left. Nowadays, it's a very transient place. In and out, in and out, in and out. And people are, stepping stool, moving on, yeah. So back then, it was like a pool of people worked together for 10 or 15 years. Joe dies. This is way before my time. 10, 15 years before my time. They go out on the little ferry. They open up the can, and they say a prayer. And Marilyn goes, bloop, throws it in the river. Didn't open up the capsule and dump his ashes out. So that was like a little bit of levity there, and everyone's like, oh, Marilyn, you didn't dump his ashes. She's like, oh my gosh, whatever. So anyway, now fast forward a few years, there's been a bunch of sightings around the station in the carpenter shop. Shadows walking by, people seeing what they thought were people in the background, whatever. It happens a lot. It's creepy back there, so your brain's gonna play tricks on you. It's really creepy back in there. I want to shoot the thing. And it's really dark and loud and strange, So late at night, when we used to build sets till 1 o'clock in the morning, so stupid. 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning building sets, Everyone, stapling their thumbs to wood and falling asleep while they're driving. I drove off 3 times with a gas pump in my car because I'm freaking, working for minimum wage, driving off gas pumps on my drive, my causeway drive, every day. And it's like, whatever. They had great benefits back in the day. So anyway, don't get me started on that. Yeah, don't you get me started on that. So anyway, everybody, a few times, I saw a ghost here, spirit here, whatever it is. People saw these shadows, and it's just weird, So, and this old fellow who had died a few years ago, Paul, said he was upstairs one night and the remote control got slapped off the TV and went flying across the room. It didn't fall off the TV, like got slapped off the TV. And he saw it go flying like 15 feet, bounce across the room, batteries went everywhere, And I was like, hello. So he had, a couple of weird sights. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. At this point, I'm like, yeah, I want to believe in aliens. Call me Mulder, from X-Files. I want to believe, aliens, ghosts, fantastic beasts, Bigfoot. I'd love it. I'd love it all to be true. In a world where everyone's got a cell phone with HD quality cameras, you think somebody would shoot something undisputed, okay? These days you can't even tell with the UFO footage and all the crap, It's like, you can't tell. Some CG geeks get in there and it looks pretty real. They'll match pixels and motion track and all that good stuff, and it looks pretty real. It's just, I don't see why aliens would have bright flashy lights at night, like, hey, here I am, blow me out of the sky, whatever. So, anyway, back to the ghost. So, I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, ghost. Yeah, it's haunted. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I don't, whatever. So one day, middle of the day, and my supervisor at the time said he would see shadows walking through the back area a lot. And he said he saw it quite a few times. And I'm like, sure. So midday, we're on some commercial, doing something. I'm running upstairs, and I open up the hallway upstairs above this area, and there's no one up there. There's only like 2 of us that have had offices up there. Now it's like down to 1. And it's just a long gray hallway, right? So I open up the door as I'm running through the hallway to my door, and I see a man standing down there with tan pants, a red shirt, and black shoes. And it's kind of like point A, point B. It wasn't like I was in the hallway for long. I saw him down there. I thought it was one of our photographers, Ron. And I'm like, hey Ron, what's up? And I run to and he didn't say anything, so I backed up. I pulled the brakes, backed up, and I said, hey Ron, and no one was down there. So I go walking down there and sneak up on him, because at this point I think he's messing with me and wants to try to scare me. So I get down there, jump in the office, because the office is at the end of the hallway. No one's in there. There's no way out. The hallway is the only way in and out of the place. Wonderful fire hazard. We're all going to die if it burns. And no one's down there. Office is empty. I'm like, okay. At this point, I start getting little hairs. And I'm looking around, nothing. So I'm like, okay, interesting. A week later, at this point, I'd never seen a picture of Joe Bakshish, okay? A week later, I tell Shelby, the guy I work with, the names haven't been changed, by the way. These are actual names. And he shows me a picture of Joe Bakshish. Guess what he's wearing? Tan pants, black shoes, and a red shirt. I'm like, ah! And it was just freaky. So that was the first time I've seen a ghost, And I'll save the other story for later. But yeah, that was interesting. When you're wigged out at midnight and you got a shirt hanging on a hanger on a wall, out of the corner of your eye, it looks like a person, it freaks you out. Oh, it's just a shirt. Okay, I understand that, and that has happened to me 20 million times, maybe 20 million and 2 times. Okay, maybe this morning it happened to me. Okay, that happens. This was a gray hallway, no colors in it, no shirts hanging at the end of it, and certainly, no man standing there with his arms crossed looking at me. So. People say, your brain puts stuff together. It does. It wants to put a body where there's none to protect your butt. Because I'm sure the monkeys that we used to be, who didn't do this process, would get killed. The ones who, over-guesstimated that there was another monkey down there with a stick trying to kill them, got to survive. The ones who didn't, the lazy ones where their brains were like, it's probably just a cluster of bushes, don't worry about that. Those died. So the ones that, were a little overly cautious survived and became us. So we're designed to see stuff, to protect our butts, These days in our nerfy Walmart worlds, I don't think we'd protect ourselves at all. We'd just sit there and be eaten by whatever's materializing down there. But anyway, yeah, so that was exciting. So how about you guys? Ever see a ghost? Like a real ghost? What you think was real? You can't really explain it. Not the t-shirt hanging on a clothes hanger ghost, but like where you're in a room and the wall's blank and you see something walking across the wall waving at you with a smiling face. It's like, okay, strange. I've heard a few ghost stories over the years. My own girlfriend had a pretty good one. I'll have to share that later with you. But let's see if I get more than 2 clicks on the ghost story here. And if so, I may tell another ghost story. But anyway, I'm about at work and almost late. That's my mission in life, to almost be late. Not late, but pretty dang close to it. So anyway, yeah, y'all have a good one. And this may inspire me to shoot something back there. I have to make a creepy marionette thing, maybe like half spider, half person. Might be kind of interesting. So yeah, just kind of walking through, just hanging out back there. You don't see them till late at night. Anyway, y'all have a good one.